Number 1. Early concentration camps 1933 to 1937, where terror became system. March 22, 1933, 7 weeks after Hitler becomes chancellor. The first prisoners arrive at Dachau. They are not Jews, they are communists, social democrats, trade union leaders, anyone who might resist. Dachau begins in an abandoned munitions factory near Munich. Theodor Eicke, the first commandant, creates rules that will govern every camp that follows. Torture is permitted. Beatings are routine. Execution requires only a signature. Prisoners who approach the fence are shot without warning. Joseph Hardinger, a Bavarian prosecutor, arrives that spring to investigate unexplained deaths. He finds clear evidence of murder. He compiles charges against Eicke. He presents his case to the Justice Ministry. The files are seized. Hardinger is transferred. The investigation dies. The message spreads. Resistance means disappearance. By 1937, the SS operates 3 major camps: Dachau, Sachsenhausen, Buchenwald. Together, they hold fewer than 8,000 prisoners. The camps are not yet death factories. They are laboratories, testing grounds for methods that will later kill millions. But these early camps served a specific purpose, and when that purpose expanded, new types of prisons emerged. Concentration camps, 1937 to 1945, where identity meant punishment. Buchenwald opens in July 1937 on a forested hill near Weimar, birthplace of German democracy. The irony is deliberate. The concentration camp system eventually swells to over 44,000 sites, main camps, sub-camps, satellite operations, a web of suffering spanning every corner of Nazi-controlled Europe. Prisoners arrive marked by triangles: red for political prisoners, green for criminals, purple for Jehovah's Witnesses, pink for homosexuals, black for asocials, 2 yellow triangles, forming a Star of David, for Jews. Buchenwald processes 250,000 prisoners over 8 years. 56,000 die. Ilse Koch, wife of the commandant, allegedly collects tattooed human skin. Doctors conduct experiments on living subjects. Prisoners freeze to death in winter, collapse from exhaustion in summer, but not all concentration camps operated identically. Ravensbrück, opened in 1939, holds only women, eventually 130,000 of them. Medical experiments target Polish political prisoners, known as the rabbits, whose legs are deliberately infected and mutilated. Mauthausen in Austria carries a Grade 3 classification, return not desired. Prisoners work the granite quarries, carrying heavy stones up 186 steps carved into the cliff. The SS calls it the Stairway of Death. Guards push exhausted prisoners off the edge, calling it parachute jumping. Of 190,000 prisoners who entered Mauthausen, more than 90,000 never left. The concentration camps killed through starvation, disease, and overwork. But the Nazis built other camps designed for a different purpose entirely. Extermination camps, 1941 to 1945, where murder became industrial. 6 camps, 6 locations, 2.7 million dead. Chomno opens first in December 1941. Victims are loaded into vans. Engines run. Exhaust pipes pump carbon monoxide into sealed compartments. By the time the vans reach the forest, everyone inside is dead. Over 152,000 are murdered this way, but vans are too slow. In 1942, 3 camps open under Operation Reinhard: Belzec, Sobibor, Treblinka. These are not prison camps. There are no barracks, no work details, no selections. Jews arrive by train. Within hours, they are dead. Treblinka perfects the system. The platform is designed to look like a regular train station, complete with a fake ticket window and painted clock. SS guards herd new arrivals down a pathway called the Road to Heaven. At the end, gas chambers disguised as showers. 870,000 people are murdered at Treblinka. The camp operates for barely 16 months. Abraham Bomba, one of fewer than 70 survivors, was forced to cut hair from women moments before they were gassed. We couldn't tell them. We could only cry inside ourselves. We knew what was waiting for them. Auschwitz-Birkenau combines both systems. It functions as concentration camp, labor camp, and death factory. 4 gas chambers and crematoria operate simultaneously. At peak efficiency in 1944, up to 6,000 people are murdered and cremated every 24 hours. 1.1 million people die at Auschwitz. 960,000 are Jews. Most walk directly from the trains to the gas chambers without ever being registered as prisoners. But mass murder was only part of the Nazi system. Millions more were worked to death. Forced labor camps, 1938 to 1945, where work meant death. Arbeit macht frei. Work sets you free. The words hang over the gates of Auschwitz. The message is a lie. Forced labor camps spread across Nazi-occupied Europe like disease. Major corporations, BMW, Siemens, Krupp, e.g. Farben, Volkswagen, exploit slave labor. Prisoners build underground factories, clear rubble from bombed cities, manufacture weapons for the Reich. Mittelbau Dora, hidden in the Harz Mountains, produces Phi-2 rockets in tunnels carved by prisoners who sleep underground for months. 60,000 pass through the camp. 20,000 die, more than all V-2 rocket attacks combined. Neuengamme, near Hamburg, holds 95,000 prisoners over its lifetime. 56,000 perish. In the final days of the war, 9,000 prisoners are crammed onto ships in Lübeck harbor. British planes, unaware prisoners are aboard, sink the vessels. 7,000 drown. Gross-Rosen in Silesia processes 125,000 prisoners through its granite quarries and 100 subcamps. 40,000 are worked to death cutting and hauling stone. The labor camps operated on a simple equation: extract maximum value before the prisoner dies. When they collapse, replace them. An endless supply of human beings reduced to raw material. But some camps served a purpose between life and death. Transit camps, 1940 to 1945, where deportation began. Westerbork sits in the northeastern Netherlands, surrounded by heathland. Before the war, it held German Jewish refugees. After 1942, it becomes a transit point to Auschwitz. 102,000 Jews pass through Westerbork. Trains depart every Tuesday. Prisoners call Tuesday Transport Day. Lists are posted Monday evening. Families spend their final night together waiting to see if their names appear. Anne Frank arrives at Westerbork on August 8, 1944, after 2 years hiding in Amsterdam. On September 3rd, she boards the last transport to Auschwitz. She is 15 years old. Ruth Wiener, daughter of the founder of London's Wiener Library, survives both Westerbork and Bergen-Belsen. She was only 15 when imprisoned. Drancy, a half-finished apartment complex in suburban Paris, becomes France's main transit camp. 67,400 Jews are deported from Drancy to Auschwitz. Only 2,000 survive. Theresienstadt in Czechoslovakia operates as both transit camp and propaganda tool. The Nazis call it a model Jewish settlement. They film prisoners appearing to live comfortably, then deport them to Auschwitz. Of 140,000 Jews who pass through Theresienstadt, 90,000 are murdered. The transit camps processed human beings like cargo. But one category of prisoner faced treatment even worse than Jews. Prisoner of war camps, 1939 to 1945, where Geneva meant nothing. The Wehrmacht captures 5.7 million Soviet soldiers during the war. 3.3 million die in German custody, a death rate of 57%. Compare this to prisoners from Western countries. Of the 232,000 British and American POWs held by Germany, fewer than 4% die. The difference is ideology. Nazi racial theory classifies Slavs as subhuman. The Geneva Convention, Germany argues, does not apply. Soviet prisoners arrive at stalags, enlisted men's camps across occupied Poland and Germany. They find no barracks, no food, no sanitation. Many dig holes in the ground for shelter. October 1941. 5,000 Soviet POWs die every day, every single day. In Stalag 342 at Molodechno, Belarus, prisoners beg guards in writing to shoot them rather than let them starve. Cases of cannibalism are documented. At Stalag 3C in eastern Germany, up to 12,000 Soviet prisoners perish. Gestapo agents regularly screen for Jews and communists, who are transferred to concentration camps for execution. The Nazis use POWs for the first Zyklon B experiments at Auschwitz. In September 1941, 600 Soviet prisoners and 250 Polish inmates are sealed in a basement. Poison gas drops through the ceiling. The SS has found its method. More Soviet prisoners of war died in German captivity than any group except Jewish civilians. Second, only to the Holocaust itself. The children's camps, where childhood was stolen, Jerzazna and Litzmannstadt. Most people have never heard these names. They were Jugendverwahrlager. Children's camps. Polish children deemed unfit for Germanization are sent here. Their crime: wrong bloodline, wrong appearance, wrong parents. Hundreds of children and teenagers are processed through these camps, then transferred to extermination centers. In the Łódź ghetto, children under 10 make up 12% of the population. By 1944, nearly all are deported to Chełmno and murdered. Theresienstadt holds approximately 15,000 children at various times. Most are eventually sent to Auschwitz. Of the 15,000, fewer than 1,500 survive the war. During the Warsaw Ghetto liquidation, children are specifically targeted. Too young to work, they have no value in the Nazi system. Families attempt to hide their youngest members in bunkers, cellars, anywhere. Janusz Korczak, a beloved Polish Jewish educator, runs an orphanage in the ghetto. When his 200 children are selected for deportation in August 1942, he refuses offers to save himself. He walks with them to the Umschlagplatz, then boards the train to Treblinka. None survive. The camps did not discriminate by age. They killed whoever the Nazis decided should die. The system as a whole. What the camps really were. 44,000 sites. More than 300 camps classified as concentration camps. 6 purpose-built death factories. Countless labor camps, transit camps, POW facilities, sub-camps, satellite operations. The numbers are almost impossible to comprehend. 6 million Jews murdered. 3.3 million Soviet POWs dead, 1.8 million non-Jewish Polish civilians killed, 250,000 Roma murdered, hundreds of thousands of disabled, homosexual, political, and religious prisoners eliminated. The camps were not exceptions to Nazi rule. They were its essence, a system designed to classify, exploit, and exterminate entire categories of human beings. Each camp type served a function. Early camps silenced opposition. Concentration camps broke resistance. Labor camps extracted value. Transit camps facilitated deportation. Extermination camps industrialized murder. POW camps eliminated racial enemies in uniform. Together, they formed something unprecedented in human history, a continental network of organized death. Primo Levi, who survived Auschwitz, wrote, "It happened, therefore it can happen again." This is the core of what we have to say. Understanding every type of camp, what it was built for, who suffered there, how it operated, is not historical curiosity. It is obligation, because the first step toward never again is knowing exactly what happened before.